Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, October 12th, 2019. This is episode 1634. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by FreshBooks, the #1 accounting software in the cloud for self-employed professionals and their teams. Make the running of your business easier and more efficient with FreshBooks. Try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/techguy. And by Zapier. Zapier connects all your business software and handles the work for you so you can focus on what matters most. Right now through November, go to zapier.com/techguy for your free 14-day trial. And by CacheFly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with CacheFly CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cachefly.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Hello, good to see you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, kind of relieved to be here. This is the show where we talk about tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones. We talk about smartwatches. We talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, all the realities. And none of that would be any good without electricity. And for a bit, we thought maybe we wouldn't have any. Because I know there are people in the state of California who don't. I think there's outages now, right? Our electric company calls them PPSO. PSP what? Public Service Power Outage. PSPO? PSPS. Public Safety Power Shutdown. Well, I'm glad we got the terminology right. I know what the experience is. And it was very scary because we were off Wednesday and Thursday, and we were scrambling to see what we could do because I have to do this radio show. I will go into withdrawal if I don't get to talk to you about technology. So I was going to do it, I think, from my house was the final determination. So be glad I'm not in my jammies right now. I got dressed and came to work. But we didn't know for a while. Oh, that was a weird experience. Weird experience. But, the good news is because our electric company shut down the power, Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E, there were no significant wildfires. No life was lost. No towns were burnt to the ground as they were last year. So I guess you can look on the bright side. Sure, the power is out for a couple of days. A few people had problems that needed the power. But here I am doing the show. Studio's lit. It's funny because it was just 2 days, but it felt like weeks. It was anxiety ridden. It was really, if you've not had the power out, you must have. Everybody's had that experience at one point or the other. But long power outages, more than a day, remind you of how dependent we are on our electricity. None of these things we talk about on the show work. I mean, they work for a little bit if they've got batteries, but, not forever. It makes you feel how dependent we are. How dependent we are on the power. Tuesday, day after Sunday, Monday, day after Monday, Tuesday. I'm doing a little date math. It's hard. Math is hard. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Google's going to have an event, and they're going to announce a bunch of stuff, most of which we already know about. In fact, I saw in Canada, Best Buy already has an order page for the new Pixel 4 phones. They don't have the price, and they don't say when you'll get it. So that's about all we don't know. They have the specs. They have pictures. It's quite a surprise. They didn't even seem to make any attempt to pull it down or anything. It was just like, yeah, you want to pre-order? Here's what you'll be getting. Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL, kind of like last year with the 3 XL. Some I think it was 5.8 inches. Now I'm going to have to do it from memory because I don't know if the Best Buy ad is still there, but I should have captured it. Darn it! What was I thinking? What kind of reporter am I? But it was, 12 megapixel camera. The big one. No, I think both of them had Face ID, face recognition, not fingerprint, kind of like Apple. Google seems to want to copy Apple a little bit. It's kind of weird, kind of odd. You can go your own way. March to the beat of a different drummer, Google. You could go your own way. England also, Pixel 4 advertisement. So people are already talking about that. And then a tech blog, 9 to 5 Google, had apparently got their hands on the new Pixel Book Go, which is the new Chromebook. Looks nice. Looks well, it's different. It's interesting because there's no fingerprint reader, which previous Pixel books had. There's no pen, which previous Pixel books had. Oh, Best Buy in Canada has pulled it down. I'm just looking. Whoops. Oopsie. Oops. They're going to still offer, let's see, rear camera, dual rear cameras, front camera 1080p. I think that a couple of things. One, the battery looks small, so battery life might be disappointing, especially on the smaller one. And the other is that the display is 90 hertz, which is 50% faster than most phones right now, than your computer too, which is 60. 90 hertz is nice. I have a OnePlus 7 Pro, which has a 90 hertz display. It's, you don't really need it, but because it's not like your display looks like it's flickering, but it's smoother when it scrolls and stuff. I mean, that's nice. It's nice. I'm a little worried about the Pixel 4 battery. It's awfully small. And this is in a time when Apple and others are making bigger batteries because they finally figured out, no, we don't want thinner and lighter as much as we want all-day battery life. That would be nice. Anyway, we'll find out. There's also probably new Pixel Buds. Those are the little earphones that Google sells, just like everybody else. Apple, Samsung. Everybody's copying Apple. Sigh. Everybody except a company called Essential, which showed off on Twitter its new phone, the Gem. Did you see the pictures of that? Probably not. You have to be kind of following this stuff to really. The Gem is tall and thin, like a good-looking guy. It's a weird. My friend Aunt Pruitt says it's a 21:9 aspect ratio. It's kind of almost. I think it's longer even than that. And it has color shift material on the back. Who cares? And it's going to be very voice focused. That makes sense because you don't have all that screen real estate. I admire any company. I was just ragging on Google and Samsung for copying Apple, and Apple kind of copies it back. I was just kind of ragging on them for saying, not doing new and different things. And here's this company, Essential, doing new and different things, kind of oddball things. Control mostly through voice commands. Hey, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. It's good to see experiments. Essential, it's not their first time at the rodeo. It was founded by Andy Rubin, who invented Android. His company was Android. Google bought it and acquired him in the process. Before that, you might remember the T-Mobile Sidekick. It was kind of a cool phone. We kind of had the screen flipped out of the way and there was a keyboard. It was a weird phone. I like that. So he has a kind of a track record of doing interesting things. It was kind of dismissed at Google under allegations of sexual harassment and other things. But the funny thing is, he was given I'm not talking to you, Google. I'm sorry, my phone. Shh. He was given such a nice severance package, $90 million, according to the papers. Such a nice severance package that he could go out and start this other company. So there's some people who are saying, well, I don't care how interesting this phone is. I'm not buying it. I did buy his previous phone, the Essential phone, and it was interesting but imperfect. He had problems with the camera. It's hard to be a new startup, a new phone company. Hard to do that. And then there's Microsoft. We talked about this last week, announcing what is essentially, they say, don't call it a phone. It's a phone. The Duo. It's a phone. It's a dual screen phone. It won't be available for a year and some time, but Christmas 2020. But that's a phone. Now there's an established company doing a phone and experimenting, so that's cool. I don't know. I like seeing different, and everything looks like a black slab of glass these days. Isn't that kind of dull? Isn't that kind of boring? Don't we want to see some interesting new ideas? 8888 Ask Leo. That is the phone number if you want to call. We also have a website, techguylabs.com. I think I am justifiably proud of that site because everything we say, I say, you say, is on there, including, by the way, after the fact, audio and video from the show. So we put it all up there. And then what's cool is you can leave your comments too, and it's free. There's no sign up. So consider, if you will, a visit to techguylabs.com. I guess my real point is don't worry about opening up the notebook and writing down everything, and you don't have to do that. We do it all for you. You're driving, you're doing your chores, you're doing something today. I'm sure you don't need to write anything down. And that's why we do it for you. techguylabs.com. Oh, my.
Oh, that snuck up on me.
It's a miracle. Oh, my.
That was like the fastest break
Looky here. It's the unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer. Kimmy don't take no Schaffer. Hello, Kimmy.
Good morning.
How are you?
Better than you.
Did you get, was your power out?
No.
It was really weird what power was out and what wasn't.
It was, and it was also not at all windy, so that was kind of obnoxious. But
I don't really, I don't pretend to understand what happened
I don't either.
there. The thing that was very strange is our studio was right on the edge of the map. If I'd had a long power cord, a little extension cord, I could have run it out the door to the IHOP next door, and they were on.
I'm fully aware of that because I was seeing Lagunitas posting saying, we're open, come on for some cold beer. And I'm going, wait a second. Open. That's right around the corner.
Literally, one building behind us was open. So
yeah, the grids are weird.
Well, we're on the edge.
Yeah.
But it strikes me, first of all, okay, I don't want to go on and on about this, but our power lines here are underground. There's no...
Oh, okay.
Right? Look around you.
So then that is weird that they would shut this part off.
And so maybe we have power transmission lines that go through wildfire areas. That's okay. I don't want anybody to die because of our power.
Right.
But doesn't the building next door get the power from the same place?
I've never
maybe
understood
not.
that.
I don't get it.
I've had the situation where my power's out and the person either next door or across the street doesn't. So
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
The real problem is, and the PG&E workers, I know they're great people, but nobody trusts the company.
Right.
And so whatever they tell us, the power company tells us, we go, well, okay.
Right.
If you say so. Nobody believes it. That's what, if you lie for a long time, people stop believing you.
Yeah. And
Didn't your mother tell you that, PG&E?
The spokespeople that they have on are just really flippant, too. Like, we're telling you in advance, so, what are you supposed to do? Exactly.
You should be fine.
What
are you worried about?
the people that need medical devices?
Well,
that's why we're telling you in advance. Make other arrangements. Not everybody has other arrangements, so... Yeah.
The people on the ground, the lines people,
they're
and all
awesome.
They're
I have
very
family
great.
members that are, so I hold nothing against the employees.
Just the executives and the board of directors.
Yeah, exactly.
Of our fine investor-owned power company.
Monopoly, where we don't have any other choice.
It's making me a socialist is what it's making me. That's what it's making me. Hey, who should I talk to?
Well, speaking of natural disasters, Luke is in Abaco, Bahamas, and he has a question that, hopefully will help him down the line next time a hurricane comes around.
It gives you real appreciation of people who've got actual natural disasters,
Yes, they have been without power for a lot longer than 2 days.
Yeah. Hi, Luke. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I am well. So Abaco, where is Abaco?
Well, basically Dorian hit our main town, which is called Marsh Harbor.
Oh man!
Abaco is the island itself.
The island that got hardest hit. You're the island that got hardest hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am so sorry.
No question about that. The question I have is, during the hurricane itself, we were having issues because it lasted, almost 3 days because it was stalled over free.
Yeah. Wasn't that the worst? It just stopped.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you can't track it anymore. I'm a tech person. I listen to you all the time. And what happens is after 2 days, the cell towers stop working. After, basically our country, after the winds are 40 miles an hour or more, they stop, the electricity stops flowing. And so you're basically in limbo for 3 days, and you have this wind, and you just don't know where it's going to go.
Horrible.
If it's coming back, if it's going anywhere.
Now I feel bad for complaining.
Is there a satellite-based type phone that I can communicate back to people in the U.S. or in Canada, or even locally in Nassau or some other islands where I'm able to communicate, but without cell service.
Yeah.
I know Elon has his pipe dream, but
well, you may remember an earlier pipe dream from Motorola. It was about 20 years ago now, called Iridium. They launched.
If people can afford it, yeah.
Well, that's the problem. There are actually at least 3 different satellite networks above us that you could use. Of course, you'd have to keep the phone charged, but there's ways to do that, pedal power and stuff. But the problem is they're very, very expensive. Now, I think a good business for you in Abaco might be renting sat phones. And I wonder if there's somebody there who does that, because you don't want to own it all the time. But boy, you'd sure like to rent it when you knew a hurricane was coming.
Exactly. Or is it available? I know they're you
can turn it off and on. Yeah, you can turn it off and on. So if you you can buy the phone and then only use it when you need it. And I'm pretty sure that you could turn it on. So Iridium, which was a satellite, a geostationary low Earth orbit satellite network for a long time. It was it geostationary or just LEO? I can't remember, but Motorola put it up there, and they went bankrupt. It went under. There's 66 satellites. It was then acquired, and now they're also putting new satellites up. So it is probably the #1 satellite network for phones. But the reason it's expensive is there's very few people who use it, and it was an expensive network to launch and to keep up there. There's 66 satellites, 9 in orbit spares, so they're never offline. It's exactly what you want, and it's what some emergency personnel use. But here's what I'm going to say you probably should do instead. Become a ham. An amateur radio operator. In any emergency, it's the hams that step up and stay online and handle communications when communications networks are down. So, and ham radios are really inexpensive, handy talkies. You could connect to another ham who could patch you through for a phone call. That's the way to go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's inexpensive and easy to get a ham license. They now have handy talkies that are very inexpensive, much less than a satellite phone, and there's no cost for airtime. What you want to do is do it now. Become a part of Aries or one of the emergency networks. I bet you there's a very active emergency network in Abaco.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And then what you'll do is this. One of the things about ham radio is when it's not saving the world in emergencies, it's a social event. So hams get to know each other all over the world. And what you'll find is a friendly ham that you can communicate maybe in Florida who is online and can patch you into the phone network, and they will do that for you. They'll say, I need to call family. I need to let them know we're all right. I need to stay up to and so this is sure there's satellite.
That can turn into that can turn into landline base through another ham.
That's right.
Communicate.
That's right.
Really?
Hams invented the packet radio system that we now use. They invented it. Okay. So if you go to the Amateur Radio League, ARRL, and it's arrl.org/ Let me see. Somebody just posted in the chat. Let me just look in the chat because, just there. Actually, just it's a long URL. Go to awrl.org. They have all the information about becoming a ham, education and training. We have a ham radio show called Ham Nation that's for amateurs. That's really great. It's how I got my license. And then but what's great about the amateur radio scene is their public service is strong. And they are, if you click the public service button, you can see. And so you could help people in Abaco as a ham. There will definitely be other hams. You'll get to meet them. Hams do training all year long around this kind of thing. I mean, I think that would be a fantastic thing. And that's one way to stay in touch with what's going on.
Yeah, especially being on an island. I mean, you're isolated, number one, and it's just, it's just that much harder.
Well, I think, since you're a techie, you're going to fall in love with it anyway because it's really fun. There's a lot of gear. You talk to people all over the world. I think you are, Luke, going to discover a fabulous new hobby.
I might just do that.
Yeah,
I appreciate your help.
Yeah, it's really great to talk to you. How are things now?
It's going to be, I have to say, I mean, I was not in town, okay? I was not in Marsh Harbor. I was
thank goodness.
Probably 20 miles south of Marsh Harbor.
Oh.
Maybe 30 miles.
Was that better or worse?
Oh, way better.
Oh,
I mean, I don't have any destruction on my house.
Thank goodness.
I was fine. We were,
thank goodness.
We're fine.
Good.
But, the town is a different story. I mean,
I can imagine.
We're talking 8 months to a year before we get power.
Breaks
probably.
my heart. I was in BVI last a year and a half ago after their hurricane, and it was 6 months after the hurricane. They were still completely flattened.
Oh yeah,
flattened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because people don't have the resources to get back up and running. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the international aid, I mean, is wonderful. It's absolutely amazing. Some of these groups providing meals, providing everything for the people, and it's just that I can see that that's going to stop soon. It's not going to be around, and
you got to help yourself.
It's probably going to get worse. Yeah, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. But still, it's it
makes me so sad. You live in a beautiful. I love the Bahamas. I've never been to Abaco.
I mean, it is. Don't worry.
Beautiful area. Yeah, become a ham and get others to become a ham. By the way, there's also a way to do internet through the ham radio.
Okay,
it's not very fast, but you can do that too. So it's really amazing.
I'll certainly look into it. I might not tell my wife right away, but I'll certainly look into it.
Luke, a pleasure talking to you. Take care.
You too, Leo. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for the man, the myth, the legend, Santa Claus in modern clothes. It's Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek. Listen to that ho, ho, ho.
It's coming up.
Did you have a good fast? Did you have a good Yom Kippur?
Yes.
Good. Play the shofar for everybody.
I blew the shofar, and I didn't beat my record of the longest blast, but I did do 35 seconds, which wasn't too bad.
Long enough. People start getting restive after about 20, I'm sure.
Well, not the way I do it.
Oh, you jazz it up a little bluesy, huh?
Well, no. I just continue the crescendo. It gets louder and louder and louder and louder.
Wow, that would make me more and more nervous. So we're going to talk about home theater. Before we do, I want to just mention Joker. Don't go see it.
Oh, did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. I didn't want to. It looked too dark and too depressing and too violent.
I would have been happy if it was dark like The Dark Knight was happy. It was dark. But it wasn't like that. It was grim and depressing. And it wasn't a Batman movie. It wasn't an action movie.
Yeah.
It was just a very sad movie. So, I think it's doing gangbusters at the box office.
It is doing gangbusters.
And I think a lot of people are probably going out saying, oh, that wasn't what I expected at all.
No, what I did see this week, though, was Gemini Man.
All right, I knew you were going to go see that. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. Ang Lee, the director, shot it at a high frame rate.
Yep.
It features, and it's also interesting because it features Will Smith and at his current age, but also there was enough footage of Will Smith as a young man, 20-year-old man, that they could simulate the young Will Smith. It wasn't CGI. Right. It wasn't special effects. It was footage that they reused.
Well, essentially, they reused the footage to map his younger face.
Oh, that's right. They'd still have to update it to be high frame rate and all of that stuff.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And that, those two things were really why I went to see it. I had read a few early reviews that said, it wasn't that good a movie. And I'll have to verify that now. Yes, it's not that good a movie. It's, the script is not really great.
We should mention that you liked Billy Swan.
I did.
Yeah,
yes.
Billy
I'm an Ang Lee fan.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm in the minority when I say I thought Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk was a good movie.
Yeah.
Very few people agree with me, but I'll stand my ground.
Yeah.
But the point is that both Billy Lynn and Gemini Man, the new movie, were shot at 120 frames a second, 5 times the normal movie frame rate. And what that does is it gives motion, it makes motion, anything in motion, much clearer, much sharper. And I like that look. Some people don't. A lot of people don't. They say, oh, it doesn't look like a movie. It doesn't look like cinema. But that's, I think, because we have 100 years of looking at movies that were shot at 24 frames per second. And so people tend to like that, what they call a quote unquote dreamy look, which to me just looks fuzzy and out of, and blurry when things are moving around. So the other thing Ang Lee did here, as with Billy Lynn, was to shoot it natively in 3D. So he had twin cameras set up on rigs to actually shoot in 3D at 120 frames a second at 4K resolution. I mean, that's a massive amount of data that they're having to deal with.
Now, you couldn't possibly have seen it in a theater that showed it at 120 frames per second.
In fact, I did.
Oh.
But and you've struck upon the strange thing about this movie, that he shot it at 120 frames a second, 4K resolution, 3D, but there are no theaters in the U.S. that can show it like that. None. Instead, you have to choose. If you want to see it at high frame rate, you can. You can see it at 120 frames per second in 14, I think, different Dolby cinemas, but the spatial resolution is not 4K. It's been down-res to 2K. The projectors that we have currently installed in theaters can't do both. That's right.
But so where did you see? So you saw it 4K 120.
No, I saw it in 2K.
You didn't see 4K. So
there's no place.
A theoretical version of this film that no one can see.
Well, they showed it at the premiere at the TCL IMAX Theater, TCL Chinese IMAX Theater.
The old Grauman Theater.
Right. But they had to bring in special projectors to do it. And that was only for the premiere. So basically you have your choice. If you want to go see this movie in high frame rate, and I do recommend that if you go see it, you do it in high frame rate. You can do it at 120 frames per second at 2K in Dolby cinemas, and there are 14 around the country that are showing it in that way. Or you can see it in 4K, the full spatial resolution, but only quote unquote 60 frames per second. And that's happening mostly in IMAX laser theaters that have IMAX laser illuminated projectors. I chose to go see, fortunately there are theaters in both cases near me. I went to go see it in a Dolby Cinema because I was more interested in the temporal resolution, that is the 120 frames per second, than I was in the spatial resolution, which is the 2K or 4K. And the image quality I thought was just stunning. I mean, I was blown away at how clean and crisp and clear. And there's a lot of motion going on in this movie. It's basically an action movie. It's really an excuse for explosions and gunfire. And as I said, the movie itself, not so great. Dialogue, not so great. Very superficial. Nothing interesting really in the movie at all. But one review I read said that it's basically a long technology demo. That Ang Lee spent all his time on the technology aspect of it, the high frame rate, the 3D, and so on. And he spent almost no time on the story.
I've read some critics say it's a shame Ang Lee wants to squander what could be a great film career. Running down this rabbit hole of technology.
You know, and he did make some great movies. Life of Pi is one of my favorite movies.
Which
of all
also,
time.
by the way, heavily technology driven. It was a lot of CGI, 3D CGI.
And a lot of CGI. That's right. He did Brokeback Mountain. He did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Crouching Dragon, Hidden Tiger, whatever that one was.
A lot of wire work in that one. So he's always liked kind of doing special
experimental
effects.
stuff. And I really appreciate and admire him for that, for being willing to go out on the edge and really pushing the technology and the filmmaking to see what he can do.
Yeah.
Now, I happen to think Billy Lynn was actually a good movie. I do not think Gemini Man is a good movie.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a good movie, that's not it. But if you want to see what the potential is for digital cinematography, it's beautiful. I mean, it's so gorgeous that I was mesmerized.
That was the problem I had with Billy Lynn, was it was very mundane. It wasn't beautiful and gorgeous. It was like the real world. Like you were sitting in a cab.
Right.
With the people. So this is maybe another way to look at it, which is, well, let's use all this technology to give you great images. So go not for the story, go for the images. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm afraid that.
Are we going to see more of these? Is Cameron going to do this too? I mean,
Cameron is certainly going to do this with the Avatar. James Cameron is going to do this with I think there are 4 Avatar sequels still in the works, and that movie was 10 years ago. So I'm not quite sure what's taking so long.
Anybody who's ever had a computer knows these things never go well. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek, techhive.com for his writing. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Is there any reason to go see it if you're not going to see it in a fancy high frame rate theater?
No, I don't.
It's that bad. So you're only really going to see it for the technology.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
I'm afraid so. Now, you know, the de-aging of Will Smith, I thought looked great.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Lee said I couldn't have done this. There was only it really was either Tom Cruise or Will Smith. It had to be an action hero who we had a lot of footage of from both ages.
Yep.
Which is pretty funny.
And they did a beautiful job. I read one review though that said he was really concerned. The author of the review said he was really concerned about how this could end up meaning that you don't really need actors anymore, live actors, that you could make a whole movie with just digital recreations. The first attempt at that, I think, was Peter Cushing was it Rogue One?
Yeah.
You know, and that, you know, people sort of said, oh, he doesn't really look realistic. You can tell. I think young Will Smith character in this movie went a whole lot farther in the right direction to make him look very realistic. And there were tons of scenes where they're both in the scene.
Honestly, the only people who care if they need actors is actors. The rest of us will watch. If it's good, we don't care.
If it's good, yeah.
We watch cartoons all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish this had been a better movie.
I wish I hadn't seen Joker.
I decided I was kind of on the fence about it a little bit, but in the end I decided, no, I don't really need to fill my mind with.
No, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything.
Such depressing, horrible stuff.
Yeah.
One review I read of the Joker said, you know, well, hey, it's just lifting a rock and peering under what our society is really like. And
it's not, though. It's a much more grim look on it, and I don't think it's a fair take on mental illness. It's not. So it's a weird line. It's a weird kind of hybrid between gritty hyper-realism and comic book. Yeah. And I don't.
Yeah. Did you see it in locally?
Yeah. Town? We saw it in Atmos, which is they turn it up way too loud for the movie was kind of okay, but they turned the previews up so loud.
So loud.
I have on my watch now. We should talk about this sometime. The Apple Watch has a sound pressure meter.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You can get that on. I use that on my phone as well.
Yeah, it was going yellow but not red. So, but I don't know. I didn't start it long enough.
I measured Gemini Man. I haven't looked at the detailed measurements, but I had an average over the entire movie of 93 flat, which means closer to 83 dBA, which is the weighting that is used as the spec. So the spec for movies is 85 dBA average.
Yeah.
And this was a little under that. So, it wasn't terrible, except for there's a ton of explosions and gunfire. And those impacts were really high. Really high. Wow. So, yeah. You want to protect your ears in that situation.
Can you stick around for the top of the hour?
You betcha.
All right. We've used up your time here.
No problem.
All right. We'll talk.
Beatmaster says audio mixing for Joker was pretty good.
I guess it was. I wasn't really listening to the audio. It was well shot. I think it was good filmmaking and good really good acting.
Joaquin Phoenix.
He did a really good job, but I didn't like the story.
No.
But I don't think it was badly done. I just don't like the story. All right.
Yeah. I'll be around.
Thank you. All right, my friends, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to tell you all about those great folks at FreshBooks. FreshBooks, our sponsor for the podcasts. We meet with them whenever we get a chance. If I'm ever in Toronto, I guess say hi. Whenever we're at events like, I'll probably meet with them at CES because I just love these guys. They're really great, and they make a product every small business person, every freelancer ought to know about. And I say that because I used it when I was a freelancer, and it saved my butt. It was back when I was going up to Canada and doing a TV show up there. I used to have to invoice them, and I'd always put it off because who wants to do bills, right? No fun. Sending out bills. It's almost as bad as paying bills. You just don't want it. But it turns out if you don't send those invoices, you don't send in those expense reports, you don't get paid. I learned that lesson. I kind of skipped it for a few months. They got really mad at me when I sent 3 or 4 months of invoices all at once. I think it was actually 6 months all at once. Amber MacArthur, when I was working, she was my friend up there. I was working with her. She told me about FreshBooks. She said, there's a new company up here in Toronto. You're going to love it, FreshBooks. They make it really easy to do invoices. Online, you don't have to fire up Microsoft Word and Excel. And this was hard, too, because I was doing it in Canadian dollars, so I couldn't do conversion and stuff. If you have expense reports or you just want to keep track of expenses, and you might want to, even if you don't, do them in an expense report, you could use the phone, the fabulous FreshBooks app, to take pictures of them, get them right in there, either in the invoice or just in your system. I'll tell you why you might want to do that. They help you with expense organization. And because they already know what your accounts receivable are via the invoices and what's been paid, they also can tell you at any given time if you're making money. The dashboard tells you so much. Stop wasting time invoicing. Because the invoice you send with FreshBooks lets you take online payment, you get paid on average 50% faster because it turns out your clients hate paying bills as much as you hate sending bills. But if you make it easy for them, they're going to do it. They're going to say, okay, fine, push that button. Here's your money. If you have a team, if you're working with a team, it's not just sole proprietors. No. If you've got a team, you can collaborate with your team on the FreshBooks platform. You can assign team members manager roles so they can help you with some of the work that you have to do. It allows your second in command to manage projects, billing, and other team members more effectively in one tool, letting you do the work only you can do. The whole idea of this is offload your cognitive load. Let FreshBooks do the busy work so you can do the work you really love. And if you're on the go, the app, I mentioned you could snap a picture of the receipts, but you can also respond to clients from wherever you are through the app. You don't miss updates. FreshBooks lets you stay in sync across the desktop and mobile app. So you prefer the desktop, use the desktop. Prefer the mobile app, Use the mobile app. You'll get everything on either platform. Small business owners use FreshBooks in over 120 countries. Customer service is great with these folks up in Toronto. Hi, Rob. Phone, email, live chat. You'll get a quick response to your questions. We love FreshBooks. I know you will, too. That's why I have a free trial for you. 30 days free if you go to freshbooks.com/techguy. And what you need to do is put the tech guy in the How Did You Hear About Us section. That way they know I told you about it, which is good for me. And you're going to get 30 days free. Freshbooks.com/techguy. Put tech guy in the How Did You Hear About Us section. I love FreshBooks. They save my bacon. I never missed a day an invoice again. Freshbooks.com/techguy. We thank him so much for making this podcast possible. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's kind of funny. Scott Wilkinson goes to movies not for the movie, for the plot. He goes for, a lot of other reasons. Sound, high frame rate, the technology of it. I'm sure he enjoys movies, but I wonder if there's a whole group of people. I think people perhaps who go see The Joker, if you're a cineast, a film buff, a lover of movies, you might go see it for the acting, which is great, and you might go see it for the filmmaking, which is great. The story was so depressing and grim. Mark, Brookline, Ontario. Hello, Mark. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I'm well, Mark. How are you?
Good. I don't know if you probably don't remember me. I was in the studio earlier this year. I was the one with the Chernobyl T-shirt on.
Oh, yeah. Who could forget?
With the wrong spelling. It's funny. I never noticed that before. But it's on the back, but on the front, it's not. Remember, they're from the Ukraine, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Russian. They don't know. The spelling, they don't know. They don't know.
That's right.
They don't know American spelling. It's probably spelled correctly in Cyrillic.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So what can I do for you, Mark?
All right. Well, I just upgraded from an iPhone 6S Plus yesterday to an iPhone 10s.
Okay.
And I'm having a little buyer's remorse.
Uh-oh.
And the reason why I'm because I'm looking at the size of the screen. That's what I was going by, and it says, "Oh, it's bigger than the 6S Plus." So I'm like, okay, well, the screen, but it just still feels smaller than what I'm used to, and I'm debating if you have any input on this, if I should go up to.
You didn't get the Max. You got just the 10s.
Correct.
Oh yeah, bring it back and get the Max.
Yeah.
Better battery life because it's bigger. Better screen, bigger screen. People still buy the iPhone SE because they like that little dinky screen. I see people with SEs and I go, "What the heck? What is that you have there?"
Is
that a Mint?
In people's hands, and it's so small.
So if you like big screens, I think the 10s Max. And then, by the way, the new 11 Pro Max is even a little bigger. And what's funny, it's heavier and thicker. It's noticeably heavier, and that's because they put a even bigger battery in.
Really?
But you can, you just got it. Apple's very good about exchanging. So you can say, "Oh, yeah, I want a bigger screen," and they'll take it.
Now, I bought it through, it's actually through my work, so it's through a carrier, so I'm hoping that the carrier will do that, too.
They should. It's
only been a day.
I always buy everything from Apple. Oh, yeah, I think carriers, if it's only been a day, you just say, "Yeah, I need the big one." Right. Did you try it at all before you bought it?
I'm on it right now. I've been using it. I basically finally got it set up. I had a bit of a hard time getting it set up because it's so weird. So I connected to iTunes, and for some reason it says I don't know my password, and I know my password.
God.
So it's being very frustrating. So then I paid to get 50 megabytes of iCloud storage so I could just back it up and then do it that way. So finally I bit the bullet and did that. Now it's only $1.29 Canadian, whatever.
I do that too, yeah.
A month. But still, I was hoping not to have to do that. So now at least it's all backed up. So if I do go up to the bigger one, I can, it should be a pretty easy thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, once you've backed it up, it's easy.
I kind of missed the home button, though. And again,
well, that's never coming back. So,
no.
They still sell iPads with home buttons, and the SE has a home button, but I think it's never coming back on the new iPhone models. That's app. In fact, we were just talking about the Pixel 4. Looks like the Pixel 4 has eliminated the fingerprint reader, and it's just face recognition. at least that's what it looks like. It's hard to tell, but that's what it looks like. So
I kind of like the Face ID because I like to cook, and very often I'm like my hands are wet and I can't open the damn thing. So now I don't worry about that anymore.
I do that all the time. Exactly. Yeah, you'll get used to it. There's the other few times when my face is squished on the pillow at night and I want to look at the phone. I have to always, but just you just have a passcode on it and you just unlock it. Then it's really not too bad. I think I've gotten used to it. Yeah. Enjoy. I think you should get the big one. If you feel like this is tiny and you're squeezed in, definitely get the big one. Can I mention before we take another call the sponsor for this segment of the show, iDrive? I'd love to. This week was a great example of why everybody needs backup. The power cuts. One of the good things about iDrive, if your power is down but you still need your data, your servers are all spun down, having data in the cloud is a great thing. You can get it. You can go to another location, fire up the computer, and there's your stuff. iDrive Backup is the solution I recommend. You can back up everything. Servers, PCs, Macs, one account, one low price, 5 terabytes. 5 terabytes, that's enough. Boy, you could back everything up. iDrive is simple to use. It uses strong encryption, so your data is protected. PC Magazine gave it their editor's choice 5 years running now for best online backup solution. 5 years. Plans start at just $6 a month. I have a really remarkable deal, though, for you. iDrive, same people who do remote PC, so I guess they like this 90% off thing. If you use my promo code Leo at iDrive.com, 90% off. That means it's practically free. Get the best in the business. Get iDrive.com before there's another power outage or failure or hard drives fail or ransomware. There's so many things that can get your data. You better be protected at iDrive.com. Don't forget the promo code Leo to save 90% off. Jay in L.A. Hi, Jay.
Yes. Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. I was just listening to the gentleman just a little earlier with the issues with the cell phone service, satellite.
In Abaco, the Bahamas, they were hit so hard by the hurricane. And yeah, he says, I want to be ready for the next time. What do you think?
Okay, well, the reason I called is because I have a solution for that problem.
Yes.
That it's brand new. We just actually did an event last weekend with all the California Sheriff's Search and Rescue teams, the California State Emergency Services, and National Guard. So we started with the Paradise Fire, and we're looking at the solution because their infrastructure was burned out and everyone lost communications.
Yep.
So to put a solution together with that, we put our heads together. So we now have a portable cell phone system that we can launch in our drone.
Oh.
Either a free-flying drone that can go right above the fire situation or on a tethered drone that can go on a ridgetop or tool. So we can literally replace the cell phone system immediately as it's taken down.
You put up instead of putting up a tower, you put up a drone. That's very cool. Who is we?
Exactly. That's my company.
Tell us who it is. Don't keep it a secret.
Okay, 34 North Drones, and that's the number is 34, and then North Drones, or 34northdrones.com.
So how do you keep the drone? How long can the drone stay in the air if it's not tethered?
Okay, the drone that we have free-flying can stay up to about 10 hours.
What?
So
my drones always came down after 15 minutes. 10 hours. Wow.
Well, you can check them out on our website. We have them up there.
These are nice big drones. Wow.
The communications gear that we're putting in it, unfortunately, isn't on the website yet, but it'll be up shortly because we just announced the product at this event in Northern California last weekend. But anyway, the cell phone service that we put up in the tower is agnostic. So basically, you can talk to anyone that has a cell phone as long as it's got a battery in it. They can talk to it because we can open it up. Basically, it's an unlocked cell phone tower. So we can We can basically do an Amber Alert and send messages out to everybody in the area that has a cell phone turned on. They can also text or call back on that network. They do not have to have a plan. They don't have to have a SIM card. As long as they've got any phone that has battery power, they can talk to us.
That is really cool. Now, are you just Southern California, or do you serve all over the world, or where's your business?
We're in Burbank, but we're planning on making these units available, obviously for sale, but also as a rental basis. We're going to set up a bank of them so they're available for emergency services and programs anywhere in the globe.
You'd want to probably, if you were going to do this, have the cooperation of the local, at least authorities, emergency authorities, if not the local cell phone companies as well. But that's really cool. 34, the number 34northdrones.com. Wow. And I bet there are other companies doing this too. That's a very cool idea. Who needs a tower? Just put a drone up there. And if it's on a tether, I guess it could probably stay there for a long time. Very interesting. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. We're going to take a break. News at the top of the hour. And then we will have more of your calls coming up in just a bit. Stay here. All yours, Scotty.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Good. I have my counter there. All is well. Yeah, I've been talking in the chat room with Loquacious and Rorks. They were talking about Gladiator, and it reminded me that I'm actually on that soundtrack. Hans Zimmer hired me to play all sorts of... the shofar, alphorn, shell, trumpets, all kinds of horny stuff for the gladiator scenes, or the Colosseum scenes. When the gladiators come into the Colosseum, you hear all these horns going, rah! That's me. Hans Zimmer said, I want it to sound as rude as possible. So I sound pretty rude, I think. Tried to make it that way anyway. Loquacious also said she likes period pieces, like Gladiator. Troy Alexander, I didn't see. Troy, I didn't think was very good. I think isn't that the one with, was it Brad Pitt? I did see that one. I didn't think it was that great. Yes, BB Mike, Gladiator does have an amazing soundtrack. That's an amazing movie. Pretty violent. I had to kind of turn away a few times, but Beatmaster, yes, Brad Pitt. So anyway, that's kind of what we were talking about. It reminded me, that was many years ago. One of the things I remember most about that, I'll just give you a little story here, about that recording session, is I had to sign a contract that said basically they owned the sounds that I made. And they said, the contract said something like, we own the sounds for all time, throughout the world, and throughout the universe. That the contract actually said that. I looked at that and I went, really? You're really preparing for the future here. I thought that was really funny. Anyway. So let's see here. Anybody got any other questions for me so that we can have a nice little chat here? Phoenix Warp 1 had an interesting question. Do you think we'll ever get to the point where we can have a theater play a movie with one projection, but someone in the audience can wear something to change how they see it? So one person might see it in a higher frame rate with all the extra doodads, and the person next to them would have something to view it in regular definition. It's an interesting question. I don't see how one could do that, actually. But some people don't like that high frame rate. So here's an interesting, it made me think about this a little bit. Put on like 3D glasses, but instead of 3D, they're only showing you one frame out of 5 if it's 120 hertz and you want to see it in 24. Cut out 4 frames out of every 5. That probably would look really bad. But I suppose it's possible. I don't know. It's a very interesting question. I don't see how you could do that. Now, I think I mentioned on the show, you could do that with sound. And in fact, when I went to see the Aerosmith residency in Vegas, they had a situation where the certain members of the audience, people who spent a lot of money and were sitting on stage, got a pair of in-ear monitors on an iPad, and the sound was being beamed to the iPad over a dedicated Wi-Fi network. And you could choose which mix you wanted to listen to, the main house mix or Steven Tyler's monitor mix. And the company that supplied that system, a company called Mix Halo, just announced a couple of weeks ago that they now have, I think it's the Staples Center in LA, they have now installed a system where everybody in the audience can experience the concert that way. And this is very exciting to me, because with in-ear monitors tightly sealed in your ears, you can protect yourself, you can protect your hearing in a very loud concert situation, while at the same time potentially choosing which mix you want to listen to. And so I think that is pretty cool. And I was disappointed only in the Aerosmith thing. I was disappointed only in that only a few people got to do that. The people on stage in the VIP section that paid at least $850 for a ticket. But at the Staples Center now, apparently, everybody in the audience will be able to do that. Now, will everybody in the audience, and that Staples Center holds, 20,000 people, something huge. Will they all get their own headphones, or will they have to bring their own? Will they all get iPods, or will they have to bring their own? Use their phone, for example. I think that's the way this is going, that technology is going. Bring your own headphones, bring your own phone, and tap into this. Probably need an app, obviously, for Mix Halo, and tap into the dedicated Wi-Fi, streaming that audio, and you can control what you're hearing. I think that's fantastic. I'm all for that. Keith, 43, never saw Life of Pi? Oh, man, you really need to see it. It's an amazing movie. Amazing. I do highly, highly recommend it. You're very welcome, Loquacious. Am pushing 76. Did they specify which universe? Did who specify which universe? Steve in San Diego says, are you interested in the movie The Current War, October 25th? Haven't heard of it. What is it? Tell me about it. Love to find out about that. Let's see. Dr. Bob, Grandma, careful. They may put those horn sounds on the next Voyager spacecraft. Yeah, you're right. They might. That's okay. Maybe that's what they meant. Yeah, good point, Dr. Mom, Grandma. That's what they meant about throughout the universe. Mike Heiss. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I was already a member of AFM, American Federation of Musicians, to do the shofar on a film score. Yep, that was all union, all professional, done exactly the way it should be done. Yeah, I've been a union member, musicians union member, for really long time. So,
that'll be a good movie, the Edison Tesla feud. That'll be really good.
Oh, that'll be great. I'd love to
see that.
Yeah.
Warning: elephants will be harmed in the making of this motion picture.
Have I ever walked out of a movie? Yes. I trying to remember. I do remember that, but I can't remember which one it was now. Oh, yeah, Edison Tesla. I really want to see that.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. See you next week.
Day. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers. Computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. Smartphones, smartwatches, anything with a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. I want to put in we were talking with Luke. He lives in Abaco in the Bahamas. That was the little island that was hardest hit by the hurricane. Was it Irma? Not so long ago. And, he loves it. He's living in paradise. In fact, he said, I was a little bit out of this town of Abaco, and we were okay. We didn't get hit. But, of course, this town was razed. And in the Bahamas. He said, what could we do to prepare for the future? The cell phones went out after a couple of days. We had no way of knowing what was going on. What should we do to prepare? And I want to just underscore this and maybe encourage anybody listening to think about it. Amateur radio, ham radio, it's been around forever, as long as radio's been around. Amateur radio operators are licensed by the Federal Communications Commission. You have to take a test. There's 3 different levels. There's the beginner level, the basic level. There's a I guess they call it technician. It's been a long time. Then there's technician is a beginner level. And then there's general. That's what I am. And then if you want, you can go to even higher level, advanced. Each has a test. And each higher level allows you to do more. But for emergency services, it'd be fine to just have the basic the technician level, because then you can use a handy talkie, a portable radio. They look just like walkie-talkies, but they broadcast at special frequencies designated for use by amateurs. You have to have a license to use those frequencies. But once you do that, these radios, they work over long distances. They're really great for emergencies. In fact, that's one thing, hams, it's a hobby. A lot of people indulge in it. It's actually a growing hobby. I think when the FCC eliminated the need to know Morse code, ... once they eliminated that, it made it a lot easier. Certainly that was one of the things that kept me from being a ham earlier. It's a fun hobby, but then there's this really important emergency aspect to what amateur radio operators do. And I think most of us take it fairly seriously. Because in a case of emergency where there's no power, there's no cell phones, there's no communications, it's often amateur radio operators who keep people in touch, who keep people safe, who help with communications. In the U.S. and Canada, it's called ARES, A-R-E-S, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service. I'm not sure what it would be in the Bahamas, but I am sure there are many hams in the Bahamas, and I'm sure there is, if it's not ARES, something like ARES. So, Luke, find ARES in your neighborhood. There are always hams around who will be glad to help you pass the exam. It's not hard. During Katrina, more than 1,000 ARES volunteers assisted in the aftermath, provided communications for the Red Cross, the Salvation Army. Hancock County, Mississippi, after the hurricane had lost contact with the outside world, except through amateur radio operators who served as 911 dispatchers, message relayers, and that's the kind of thing I think now would be a really good time to start setting that network up. And Luke, just having that amateur radio, I kind of proselytized this around when I was on a board of directors of a high school up the way a piece. I encouraged them to, as many of them as possible to get their technician licenses. I gave them a amateur radio that they could use, a handy talkie they could use. So because they were kind of a remote area, they could stay in touch if power went up. We do a podcast called Ham Nation that's all about ham. Actually, we're going to do it this afternoon at 4 Pacific. 2300 UTC, you hams. But it's a great way to learn more about ham radios. That's how I became a ham operator. And I think I can't recommend it more highly for somebody who lives in an area like Abaco where emergency services in a disaster might be stretched thin. You can help. You can help. It's a really great thing. And, of course, as you get to higher levels, you get fancier radios, more equipment, and I love any hobby that involves the purchase of shiny knobs and dials. Julie in Downey, California is next. Hi, Julie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. I'm hoping you can give us some good advice.
I'll do my best.
So I live in L.A. My mom, who's 84, lives in Buffalo. She decided to get rid of her landline and just go with the cell phone. We gave her an iPhone 7 that we had, got the service set up on AT&T through our family plan. Her service was horrendous.
Oh.
It was in a senior complex, right?
Oh,
so we jump off that plan. She and I go to T-Mobile senior plan. It's working for me, not working for her. They sent her a booster thing where she puts a little like antenna on her window. Doesn't work. So now she's talking to Spectrum. And I'm just trying to find out. Spectrum's telling her, hey, we use Verizon. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, they do Verizon. So here's the first thing. You can't assume because you have good cell service where you are in Downey that it's going to be good in Buffalo. And you know, I see AT&T's ads where they say, "Oh, we got the best nationwide service," but their nationwide service is meaningless when it comes to cell phone service. What you want is how good is it locally? So that'd be the first thing to find out is what's best in Buffalo. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Verizon because Verizon's the old 9X. That was one of the companies they acquired. All of these, by the way, are just baby bells that merged and merged and merged. And Verizon was one of them. They because they had 9X, the New York phone company, I bet you they do well in Buffalo. But I'd find out. T-Mobile is notorious for having, spotty service. They're very good in cities. We have one of those little T-Mobile base units in our studios because it doesn't work. We're far enough from the antenna here in Petaluma that it doesn't work. So I think that's the first thing to find out. Now, I'll give you there are places you can go to find out. But honestly, she should ask what other people in the home are using and if they like it.
Right. They're all having problems.
If they're all having problems, it's going to be problems because that means that is it out in the countryside?
No.
It's in town?
From Buffalo. Yeah. So I guess her thing about Verizon, it's like 2.5 times the cost of everybody else, right?
Yeah. No, we stopped using Verizon, started using T-Mobile. My wife's about to kill me. She says, "I'm going back to Verizon." I said, "Okay, fine." So Spectrum is an interesting story because, and I said no because I've had bad experiences with Comcast, their cable company brethren, because they're trying to set up a cell network using Comcast routers and Wi-Fi, and it's a terrible idea. If Spectrum says they use Verizon, but when you're in the home, if they have Spectrum in the, do they have Wi-Fi in her facility?
Yes. So the facility is contracted with Spectrum.
Then it would be a good idea. Because but what you want to find out, well, TV's one thing. You want to find out, do they have internet in the home?
Yeah, and she has Spectrum internet.
Okay. Then that would be good. And what you want to do is make sure you have a phone that will do Wi-Fi calling, because then she won't be using the cell network when she's at home. She'll be using Wi-Fi, and if the Wi-Fi is strong there, it doesn't matter what the carrier is; it'll be fine.
Okay. All right. I just don't want to go through another phone.
You're doing it. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean,
when you're 3,000 miles away.
I know it's hard. Oh man. Well, you're a good daughter. It's nice that you're doing this.
A lot of FaceTiming.
I know FaceTime. That's how I communicate with my mom. Is great. At least you have that face-to-face experience.
Yes.
So I'm sure she loves it that you call her. I think if the home is using Spectrum and they have Spectrum Wi-Fi, I don't know how good their Wi-Fi is. That might be a very good choice.
Okay.
Especially since Verizon, she doesn't care because does she leave home much?
Well, she wants it for, the snowy days in Buffalo. I mean, she goes out.
She's going out. She needs good service. Yeah, it might be.
Right.
Is the Spectrum service less expensive than the Verizon service?
Oh, yeah. For one, I don't know what the terminology is. Is it gigabyte at one, whatever? And she doesn't do a lot of streaming or anything like that. It's only $14.95 a month.
That sounds great.
I know.
I think I would go with that. These cable companies are aggressively trying to get into this business, so they may be giving you a special deal just for that.
Okay. All
Sounds like a good way to go.
Okay, thanks for your advice.
You're a good daughter. All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 88. Ask Leo. Lady Laura, just saying, let me stand next to your fire. Maybe not the best lyric right at this time. 88, just teasing. 88, Ask Leo. Lady Laura, our musical director, playing the discs for us today. Dan on the line from Claremont, California. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome.
Long-time listener. Thank you so much. I am a 70-year-old, low to moderate tech-savvy guy.
Okay.
And I upgraded to OS Catalina last week, ignoring some of the caveats about people saying wait till the bugs are gone and so forth. I haven't used any enhanced features yet, but when I try to open Gmail from Mac, not my iPhone, I can still get on from my iPhone. In order to log in, I get a very big full screen message. Seems like it's from Google, saying that, among other things, that I agree to allow Google to read, delete, or compose email from my account. To me, that's kind of scary.
It's not Google.
Maybe.
That's not Google.
Maybe. So where's it come?
That must be an extension that you've installed or into your Google Mail. It's very common to see that, but I have never seen. And I just logged into my Gmail in Catalina. Are you using Safari?
I am.
Yeah. Nowadays, not because of the new operating system so much, but because of the GDPR, the privacy regulations in Europe, you are seeing a lot more notices from companies. Yeah, I don't see that. Let me log out of Gmail real quickly and see if signing in gives me that notice. It's my guess. I'm just going to log in. Don't look at my password. All right, no looking, no peeking. There we go. I don't get that warning. So I think that is probably something you installed, a plugin. So first thing to do, once you do log in, you can approve that temporarily, is go into your settings. First of all, before you even do that, go in Safari and look at your extensions. All right. Permissions like that are almost always asked for by things that you install that will maybe accept calendar invites or share calendar invites, or there's a lot of extensions to Gmail and to your browser that might want those kinds of permissions. In a way, it's encouraging that they're telling you this, because if they were really fly-by-night, they wouldn't ask, they just do it. But maybe Google makes them do it. Yeah, but maybe Google makes them do it. So there's two places to look. Start with, before even you log into Google, your Safari preferences, and look at extensions that you may have added. It's really common, unfortunately, for kind of, I don't want to say malware or even maybe spyware, but adware extensions. For instance, you go to a site, I see this all the time. My wife had one. It's called Giant Search. And she said, where did that come from? Why am I seeing that? And I said, it's because you let our 16-year-old use the computer one night, and they must have downloaded something. What happens is the thing they were downloading might not have been malicious, but these downloading sites make you download a wrapper around it, and the wrapper often contains stuff. In this case, Giant Search. I helped her remove it. It's easy to remove. It does install a browser extension. The good news is she found out about it because of Catalina. Apple has really become more aggressive in this new operating system. It's one reason I think it's a good idea to install it. Their security status in this has gotten, their stature, I guess, has gotten much more careful. And so you'll get a lot more notices about this program is not signed. You can't open it. Apple can't check it for malware. You have to go through kind of a little rigmarole to open it. You're going to see a lot more of that. And in general, that's good. So what I want you to do is first in Safari, go to Preferences, click Extensions. Make sure that everything you see in that list is something you wanted. And if it's not, uninstall it. And there's, you click on it, there'll be an uninstall item and get rid of it. And as I said, that's not a knock on you. It's easy to get these things installed. Then go into your Google settings and look at if anything has been installed under add-ons. If you see an add-on you didn't install, or if you don't know what its functionality is, delete that as well. One of those two things almost certainly popped up that warning saying, "Hey, we're going to send email on your behalf." You're right to have said what? Google does not do that.
Exactly.
Google does not do that. In fact, Google kind of very famously a couple of years ago finally said, we're not going to go through your email to look for keywords for advertising anymore. We're not even going to do that. They still have to look at your email for anti-spam purposes. So you can't do spam filtering without looking at the email and see. But it's a computer that's doing it. It's looking for spam-like behavior. That seems fine to me. But they're no longer doing it for advertising, and they certainly don't send or receive, or modify email on your behalf. That's some extension. You're right to be worried. Catalina is a good thing. You're going to find it annoying. It's going to warn you a lot more. And you may not want to do it if you're using 32-bit applications like the Adobe applications, because those won't run. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by Zapier, and I mean brought to you by Zapier. Zapier is a tool for automation I have been using for years. So glad when they called up, said, would you like to do ads? I said, yeah, because I love you guys. For instance, I've been using Zapier for 4 or 5 years now because I want to keep track of articles for our shows, right? In the old days when at radio they would do talk shows, I would get the newspaper and some, usually just a straight edge razor blade or some scissors, and I would cut out the articles, and I'd come into the radio show with a file folder full of papers. And you may have seen radio talk show hosts do that, and you'd go through and here's another one. Well, that changed a few years ago with the internet. Now I clip stuff, but I clip it virtually using Zapier. What I do is a couple of ways. I have a newsreader. And when my newsreader, it's called InnoReader. It's great. It has a little star. When I star an article, boom, Zapier zaps into action. It doesn't run on my system, by the way. It connects to the newsreader, but it runs in the cloud. The newsreader sends a signal to Zapier, which says, okay, great, send me that article. It gets the article. It automatically tweets the article to a Twitter account called Links4Twit. That's our special feed of articles Leo's reading these days. And then it goes to Pinboard, where I bookmark stuff. And then multi-step zaps are amazing. And then it goes to Google Sheets and adds a line in the sheet with all the information from the article, the link. I usually will say, here's some things I want to talk about, the tags, what show it's for, all that, automatically. All I have to do is click a star. Boom. It's amazing. I started using it on the Twit community forums. You might have seen that too. Every time a new show comes out, Zapier monitors the RSS feeds, automatically makes a post. Zapier, if you're in business, let's say you're in sales, and one of the things you have to do in sales is keep track of leads, keep track of new customers, populate a database, tell everybody they exist. Zapier will do it all for you because Zapier works with over 1,500 applications. Not just social networks, not just Google Docs, but Salesforce, MailChimp. It's the easiest way to automate your work. You don't need a programmer, you don't need a developer, you don't need an engineer. You can do it, and it's fun. You're going to love it. Making these zaps. You can make a zap to engage new leads like that. Just send out that email or automatically import new customers. You can make a zap to tell your team we've got new opportunities. I mean, the more I use it, the more I think of things I can do with it. And because they support multi-step zaps, they do more than anybody else. The possibilities are endless. You know that when you do something over and over again, I always think this, I really got to automate this. This is a computer could do this better. Why am I doing this? That's why you need Zapier. Go to Zapier.com/techguy. Connect the apps you use the most. Let Zapier take it from there. You'll be able to do it in minutes. I know maybe it's a little intimidating. You think it's intimidating, but once you start and see, it's not. Super easy. More than 4.5 million people are saving an average of 40 hours a month. That's important. Each person of those 4.5 million is saving, on average, a week of work a month. Why aren't you using Zapier? You can try it free right now through November, 14 days free. Zapier.com/techguy. Zapier.com/techguy. We thank Zapier so much for supporting the Tech Guy podcast. Couldn't do it without you, Zapier, and I mean that quite literally. They make my life a lot easier. Zapier.com/techguy. Johnny Jett, how you doing, buddy? How's everything going?
Talking about my Toronto peeps and on your last...
I love Toronto. I miss it. I haven't been up there in a while. Your wife is from Toronto.
She sure is. And I used to go tape your show over there.
That's how we met. Amber introduced us.
We met. No. Actually, we met in San Francisco.
Oh.
When you said in 2003 or 2004 when you started taping there.
I've known you that long.
Yes.
It's an amazing thing.
I'll have to post one of the old...
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
How come I look older and you do not? Explain that to me, Johnny. You're clean living.
I have 2 young kids, so they keep me young.
They keep you exhausted, I bet.
Totally.
Yeah.
But anyway, and actually, I've been home for a while, but I'm going to start traveling this week.
You won't tell. I'm gonna ask, but I know you won't tell me. Where are you going?
No, I can't tell you. But I'll be on I think at least 4 flights this week.
Oh my goodness! So my big trip's coming up in a week from Monday. I'm going flying to find a Dreamliner to Athens, Greece.
Via Munich.
Munich.
Lufthansa doesn't fly a Dreamliner from San Francisco, do they?
Oh no, actually that trip, you're right. It's not a Dreamliner. I think it's the one home is on a Dreamliner with Cathay Pacific. Yeah.
Right.
I think was it a 777? I don't remember what we're on.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what goes on in Hong Kong because
we're stopping in Hong Kong. Is that okay? Should I worry?
I thought for sure there'd be no problem like a few weeks ago, but it just seems to be dragging out, and you just don't know if they protest.
I'm getting off the plane. I'm going to print a sign. I'm going to join the protest. Darn it.
Well,
by the way, that's going to take this show off the air in China now.
You're done in China.
I'm done in China.
What the NBA has gotten into, but I love Hong Kong, and it's one of my favorite places. So if they are not protesting, I would definitely try and spend at least a few nights there if you can. Even one night's better than no nights, and they have a train right from the airport, and the airport's one of the best airports in the world.
Oh, I can't wait.
But speaking of flying, United came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw the news about their new mileage program for 2020, which is really. If the others followed, if the other 2, United and American and Delta follow, the whole thing of mileage runs are pretty much gone. Freaking flyers are gone. It's all about spending money now with United. So, before people would fly to, let's say, to Hong Kong, and they would get, 14,000 miles round trip. Well, it doesn't matter if you go to Hong Kong from San Francisco or if you go to Las Vegas. You're going to get the same amount of points. It just matters how much you spend. So frequent flyers and business travelers especially are going to love this because the more they spend, the more benefits they're going to get. But people like me who don't spend a lot of money but fly a lot and fly far, we're pretty much getting.
It kind of makes. I hate to say it. I know you don't like this, but it kind of makes sense.
It does make business sense.
You get a discount, you get a bonus because of the amount of money you spend with the airline, not the number of miles you travel.
I completely understand that point, but I'm just saying it takes the fun out of it, especially for people like me.
It's like if you went to the grocery store and they said, we're going to give you 10% off, but that doesn't mean we're going to give you 10% off the money. We're just going to give you 10% more oranges. I don't know. Is that a good analogy?
No, I don't know if it's a good analogy.
Here's a wedge, Johnny.
My friend Summer Hull wrote a good post yesterday, and she compared it to her yogurt shop, where if she spends $75, she'll get $5 free in sprinkles and toppings. I
bought a lot of yogurt. I don't know. I can't.
Anyway, it's going to be something to keep an eye on it. But
I am a United Mileage Program guy. But I have all of them. Don't you have all of them?
I mean, of course I have them all, but I don't have elite status on them all.
Why do the airlines do this? They do this so that you will prefer, given that for many flights you have a choice of airlines, that you will prefer their airline when you have a choice, right? Is that why they do it?
Yeah, of course they want you to fly them. But this is actually going to backfire for people who don't travel that much.
Yeah, but that's not a frequent flyer then. Isn't it for frequent flyers?
Well, their new program is actually really for frequent spenders, not really flyers.
Okay. I think the problem for the airlines is people got real sophisticated thanks to computers, and if I have 5 ways to go to New York from here, I could choose the one that I have the mileage with. More likely, I'm going to choose the one that's the best price, and so all of that loyalty is out the window.
I agree now. I would not choose what flight you're taking based on loyalty anymore, unless you're flying at least 75,000 miles a year or spending a good amount of money. Otherwise, just find whatever's cheapest and whatever's most comfortable and whatever has the fastest, quickest route.
Bend your microphone a little bit away from your mouth.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I feel like it looks like you're going to eat it.
I feel like I'm going to eat it. I'm so hungry.
Bend it really far away. There you go.
Is that better?
Yes. It's like a little piece of licorice right there, and you might be tempted, so don't get tempted.
All right. Well, I haven't eaten yet, so in a while. But anyway, I thought I would tell you a little bit about how to save some money on Thanksgiving flights, since it's coming up on that time.
Yep, day before my birthday. If anybody wants to buy me anything.
What day is your birthday?
The day after Thanksgiving.
What day is Thanksgiving this year? The 28th?
November 28th, yes.
So November 29th. Lee, I'm writing that down.
Write it down. Yeah, I expect gifts.
So,
Lisa, my wife asked me, and I said, I don't want to do anything. When you get to a certain age, you don't really want to even acknowledge that your birthday. I said, I think we're going to have a big turkey the day before. That'll do.
Well, we're having a big turkey on Sunday because it's Canadian.
By the way, you get such a deal. You get 2 Thanksgivings.
Yes.
Always marry a Canadian if you can, kids.
Get it? Canadian Thanksgiving's on Monday, but most of them celebrate it on Sunday.
It's this Monday.
Yeah.
Wow. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So anyway, let's try and save some people some money. So if you're traveling for Thanksgiving,
yes.
Expedia just came out and said the cheapest time to buy is between October 29th and November 13th. So you have plenty of time. They're saying those who booked 91 days out or within a week of the trip paid 20% more. So if you bought your ticket way in advance, it's not too good. And if you wait till the very last week, then you're going to get hosed.
So the best thing is when?
October 29th through November 13th, according to Expedia.
Okay.
Now, according to AAA, they're saying 7 to 13 days before the holiday. So they're saying November 11th through the 17th they want you to buy, or they tell you to buy. So I don't know if I believe any of this. I just think that everyone should always – because every destination is different and airline. So price it out. Use flight notifications. Set a reminder or a what's it called? I'm even spacing on the send an alert. Send a flight alert. Like Google has a really good one. So does Yapta, YAPTA.com. Kayak has an alert. Hipmunk, I believe, still has one.
They call them fare alerts?
Alerts, exactly.
Yeah, do the fare alerts.
Google, Kayak, and Yapta are the big ones. And what I like about Yapta, by the way, so it's yapta.com.
YAPTA?
And they're based in Seattle. Okay. And these guys, they've been around for a while. But let's say you bought a ticket on Southwest. If that price drops and you put in your information on Yapta, they will let you know that you can get a refund, because on Southwest they don't charge a change fee.
So Yapta's pretty smart.
Yapta's great, but I set fare alerts mostly with Google because it's so easy to do, and you can track a whole destination, or you can just track specific flights, and then I get an alert and say, listen, the fare is most likely going to go up, or it's going to go down.
Thank you. Johnny Jet saving us money. JohnnyJet.com, at Johnny Jet on the Twitter, Johnny Jet on Instagram too. We'll talk next week. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. John, can we send Johnny a microphone? This is driving me nuts.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it was awful, Johnny. You got to either bend it. It was terrible. The whole thing is. Let's just send him the whole kit. That's what we sent him. Send him this.
I have it downstairs.
You hear how horrible he sounded the whole time, and now how horrible he sounds? You have a PR40?
I'm not sure if it's
one of these. We sent you a nice mic. Yeah, I remember you had that. What happened? You used to do it downstairs.
Downstairs, it's just the Wi-Fi has not been great down there, and I need to get it. So, I guess I'll need to call and see if I can get it hardwired.
This is fine. If you keep it right there, it's fine. But it was too close, so every time you breathed or anything or the plosives, it was just.
I will not listen to that one again. Although I try not to.
I thought maybe Jack ate it. Jack's been chewing on your mic.
Running by. I don't know if you heard him. Error alert.
Did you see that on MSNBC? The anchor was talking about turkey, and her kid came up and started pulling on her. It was so funny, so cute. Just bring your kid to work day or something. Yeah. Have we done our pre-record? We have, haven't we?
We did.
All right.
We did. So you're going away.
I'll be here next week, but then I'm gone.
Okay.
But then Rich DeMuro will be here, and you'll do it with Rich the following weeks.
And Rich going to be here twice, right?
Yeah, 2 weekends. Yeah.
Rich is great.
We're very lucky. Yeah. Does Yapta cost anything?
No.
Why do they do it? They must get an affiliate fee or something when you rebook.
Yeah. Let me see.
There must be something they got going on. That's really great.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, I get it. So they're free for individuals, but they also have corporate travel. So they want they want to get your corporate business. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, JJ. All right. Have 4 planes, huh? I bet you're going to see Dad. That's what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
You never know.
You never know where Johnny's going. All right, Johnny. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye. Italian meatloaf stuffed with rapini, provolone, and other cheeses, along with homemade marinara sauce. Dr. Mom, do you put breadcrumbs in your meatloaf? Or any kind of grain substitute? Or you just use ricotta? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I want to be with you all the day and all the night. All of the time. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. The website has everything we talk about, so with links and everything. Johnny put some links up there to Yapta and the other sites he recommended. TechGuyLabs.com. No sign up, no fee. It's free. You just wander in, and you can get all the information from the show. TechGuyLabs.com. Emily, Altoona, PA. Hello, Emily.
Hi. I am a small business owner, and I have a storefront, and we use Apple Square credit card processing.
Okay.
But my chip reader keeps disconnecting throughout the day.
Well, darn it.
And that is why.
Is it? How is it connected? Is it hardwired or is it Wi-Fi? It's probably Wi-Fi.
No,
right?
it's Wi-Fi with Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth connected.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's one of those iPad devices with a card reader?
Yeah, we're using a Galaxy tablet, but it's Bluetooth connected. And a customer told me possibly customers are walking in with their Bluetooth activated on their phone because they just use it in their car.
Yeah.
And it might be interfering.
Bluetooth's pretty bad, frankly. But obviously that's how Square works and everybody uses it. So, I mean, I would call them. Maybe they have a solution. I don't know what that solution would be. I've never seen anybody using an Android device with it. Do you have the little plug-in Square thing? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, we have a plug-in.
You don't have the point of sale system.
The cart.
You don't have the point of sale system.
Yes.
You do? Okay. Huh. I've only seen it with iPads. I didn't realize you could use.
Yeah, we plug it into like where the headphone device would go into, and that's for to slide the credit card. But then the Bluetooth reader is connected by Bluetooth. It's a separate little piece.
I get what you're saying.
But it's very frustrating, and I'm wondering is it just that I have a faulty
I think you might. I would call them. I mean, it's in their interest to get it working right. They make money every single time you use it. And I would, yeah. So,
but I don't understand Bluetooth a whole lot. So I thought, well, maybe that's where my issue is.
Well, it sounds like it is. So when it's disconnected, it just doesn't register. You slide the card and it just doesn't register.
Right, and then it tells me don't insert it, now slide the card, and then we have to slide for a while till we can get it reconnected.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It could be a bad card reader. I'm looking at the chat room. A couple of people use this Bluetooth solution. Dr. Mom says hers failed the Bluetooth connection all the time, so it might be a common issue.
Okay.
It has to be pretty close to the device it's paired with. I guess that's the tablet. So it's fairly close, right? It's not.
No, yeah, it's right next to it. We're using it hand in hand, side by side.
So it's not the distance. I mean, a couple of things you could try prophylactically. One would be forget the device, start over, in other words. Forget the card reader. You could do that in your tab's Bluetooth settings and repair.
And we do that.
And you do that. Doesn't fix it. Yeah.
We do that about 3 times a day.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
It works for a while.
It works for a while, and then it forgets it again.
Uh-huh.
And you have updated the firmware. That chip reader, the card reader, has firmware in it, so make sure it's up to date as well. But I'm sure that the software is telling you, to update. So I imagine it is. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one where a call to square. I don't know of a way to make Bluetooth more reliable. I've always thought Bluetooth was somewhat unreliable. There's also significant security issues with Bluetooth. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this solution. They have a dedicated point of sale device with the reader built in. And I'm sure if you call them and complain about this, that's what they'll try to upsell you to.
Yeah.
But if it's enough of annoyance, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
But Scooter X has got one. He says he turned it on and it's updating again today. So maybe you just don't. Maybe there needs to be an update. It could also be that the Samsung Tab's Bluetooth radio and isn't great. The software isn't great. How old is the tablet?
Probably about 3.
Yeah, so it may be an older form of Bluetooth even. That would be something to certainly look at, especially if you have another tablet lying around and to see if it works better with a different tablet, a more recent tablet. Yeah, the Bluetooth specification's been updated considerably. Look for something with Bluetooth 5 if you can find it. Okay? That's about all I can say. I mean, I think a call to them is also in order because, hey, they make money on you. They should want to serve you. What is the business? You're selling donuts? What did you say?
No, we're a small business. We are a resale shop, secondhand clothing.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I see.
It is a lot of fun.
This was a revolution. I mean, the Square made it possible for a lot of small businesses that couldn't take credit cards before. You see this all the time at flea markets and even just, it's really a wonderful thing when it works.
Correct.
When it works. Scooter X said he just got 2.29.6. So check to see if you have the latest firmware, 2.29.6. Thank you, Emily. It's nice to talk to you. All right. Take care. But I have always had trouble with Bluetooth headsets dropping. That's why I was so upset when Apple and then everybody else dropped the headphone jack. It just worked. It was reliable. Bluetooth headsets are nice because they don't have wires, but I have calls drop all the time. I maybe think dropping is just a feature of Bluetooth. That's depressing. Jeff, Easton, Maryland. Hello, Jeff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo, a long-time listener. I have never called before.
Welcome.
I have I've been listening to you for probably about 10 years now, and
nice.
I drive about 3 hours a day, so you fill my commute. So I appreciate it.
I'm sympathetic. I used to have a very long commute too, man. Well, thank you for listening. What can I do for you?
I have I have a small photography business.
Nice.
And I've been in the last probably six months or so, I've ventured out into designing a custom maps for people.
Oh, neat.
And I have so I run a Squarespace site, and they have a feature. I guess it's called like an abandonment cart feature.
Yeah.
Where if somebody,
this is 70. They told me at one point 70% of all shopping carts are abandoned. I do this all the time. I start buying something and then I get cold feet, change my mind. I go, well, let me think about it, and I walk away, and that's a sale lost to you. So what they'll do, and I think a lot of good merchants will do this, but this is a good idea, is they'll send an email to the customer saying, hey, I see you're about to buy that beautiful alpaca sweater. How about if I give you 10% off? Now, how much would you pay? Do you use it?
So I don't use it. It's a considerable expense.
Oh,
like upgrade from one plan to another.
Yeah.
And I was just curious to know if you knew kind of another way to handle it, or if it's just I got to bite the bullet.
That's a good question.
Kind of do it.
That's a good question. Do you have any other way to see if there's a shopping cart with stuff in it that they haven't pulled the trigger? Is there any way for you to see that?
Yeah, so they don't give me any.
No.
So all they tell you is let's just say I have.
We could tell you if you would upgrade your plan. We could tell you, but we're not going to unless you upgrade your plan.
Right, and that's kind of what I think they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they've been fantastic, and I've never had an issue with them, but
yeah, I don't know. Let me. I don't use Squarespace, but let me tell people listening, if you know of a way, it's a great idea for merchants. Give us a ring, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Abandoned. Let me look at their. Scooter X has just put the great Scooter X, the king of Google, has just put up the support article from Squarespace, abandoned cart analytics. How often customers add products to a cart and leave without completing an order. How many of those orders were recovered as a result of the email? So it tells you how successful it is, how changes you make to your store affect abandonment or recovered rates over time. These things would all be important. Do you feel like you're missing? It's hard to know, isn't it, without the analytics, if you're missing business because people walk away.
Yeah, I mean, they give me, like they say that I have like 5 or 6, like on a given week, I have about 5 or 6 customers that that have inserted their email address, because that's the one thing that they would need is they have to get through that part to be able to send an email,
right?
Like to those customers. And there's usually about 5 or 6. And from what I've read is on a typical e-commerce website, you only return about 3 to 4% of those emails that you send on an abandoned cart anyway. So,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
It's not even a whole lot.
I mean, you could try it and do it for a month. Here's what you do.
Yeah.
You call Squarespace. Say, I'd like to try this. I want to see if it helps. I don't know if it's going to help. Can I try it for a month? They might even give it to you for free for a month.
That's not a bad idea.
You want to work the system.
That's a good idea.
What do you sell?
Good idea. So I sell. What I do is I create like a.
Oh, you do the custom maps. That's right.
Map.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's so like I would put like a little icon where your house is, or maybe where you guys got married, or where you guys got engaged, and that kind of thing. And it's a cool little thing.
What's the website? Right. What's the website?
So it's called a custom mapstore.com.
Custommapstore.com. Okay. And you must be using some of their e-commerce, right?
I almost use all of their e-commerce, really.
That's you're just missing that one thing. Crud.
Yeah.
Oh, and you print it out. Oh, that's neat. So you could put it up on the. I love maps. You must have loved maps as a kid, and this is why you're doing this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually, being a wedding photographer, I know how to use Photoshop very well. And, I made one for my wife one year, and actually our dog walker said, like she came over and she was like, "Hey, where'd you get that map?" And I said, "I made it." She said, "You need to sell these things."
Yeah, so she was right.
I started to, and
what a great idea! I love the look of maps. And do you have a fancy printer? How do you print? Do you print it yourself?
So if it's anything that hangs up on the wall, I just send it out.
Yeah.
To, like one of my labs, just because obviously they're going to do a much better job. But I actually do have an Epson 3880, which is like a wide format.
Right.
Photo.
But they mount it. They put it on mat and everything, so it's nice to get it matted.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So this is your business, GB Memories, but you could go to, what was it, Custom
Maps. I'm sorry, CustomMapStore.com.
CustomMapStore.com. Jeff, nice to meet you.
I appreciate the answer, and like I said, I've been listening to you for about 10 years, and you've been fulfilling my 3-hour drive every day, so I appreciate it.
Oh man, well thanks, I appreciate it. Good luck with the store.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and have a great vacation coming up.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to be gone almost a month, so you'll probably forget about me by the time I get back.
I doubt it.
Take care, Jeff.
I doubt it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you, guy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hey, our show today quite literally brought to you by CacheFly. CacheFly is our content delivery network, or CDN. And if you are delivering content, whether it's an app or data or podcasts or movies or TV shows to customers, if your website is tied to company revenue, no matter what industry you're in, you need CacheFly. Give your customers the fast downloads they deserve. CacheFly delivers rich media content up to 10 times faster than traditional delivery methods. And it's up to 30% faster than even other CDNs. It's good. That's why we use it. We've been using it for a decade. We deliver petabytes. There's megabytes, there's terabytes, there's petabytes comes. I think that's what comes next. Anyway, that's like 5 petabytes a month through CacheFly's network. What I love is I never have to worry about spikes or exceeding bandwidth limits, because CacheFly works with you over they look at your year-long usage pattern to smooth out the costs, to smooth out the spikes. We're very spiky. In other words, people all download the Tech Guy show at once, that kind of thing. CacheFly makes it easy. I don't ever have to dial in to say, oh, I know we've done too much this month or anything. And they save a lot. In fact, on average, customers who switch to CacheFly save more than 20%, which is not an insignificant amount. CacheFly, many, many people use CacheFly. It's faster, it's less expensive, and it's backed by a 100% SLA. It doesn't go down. In 10 years, not one problem with CacheFly. Other problems, but never with CacheFly. CacheFly guarantees the best user experience for all your customers, no matter where they are in the world, because there's servers all over the world, no matter what device they're on. We're not the only ones who use CacheFly. LG, Microsoft, Adobe, Ars Technica. CacheFly is very popular with people in the know. Just for you, if you want to find out if you're using a CDN or you're not, and you ought to be, go to twit.cachefly.com, and no sales pressure. They'll just look at, you can give them your bill, and they'll look at your bandwidth usage. They'll say, here's what it would cost. Here's what you would save. twit.cachefly.com. We are so grateful to CacheFly for bringing our shows to you each and every day. We really couldn't have done it without them, and I think you really ought to try it. CacheFly. twit.cachefly.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. Hour 3 of the Tech Guy Show. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. That's from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you still can call. You just have to call using Skype out or something like that. It'll still be free. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, I've mentioned this before, techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. That's free, open to all. A great place not only to see what we talked about or get the links, or you can even listen to the show. There's video or an audio of the show after the fact, but you can also add your thoughts. So if you've got a solution, for instance, for our last caller's Bluetooth square reader problem, put it there. You can put it there too. techguylabs.com. Line 2, Michael, Salt Lake City. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Leo. Thank you so much for taking my call. first of all, I just absolutely love your show, and you were born to do this. So thanks for your service to the public.
My pleasure. When you're born to do something, you got to do it, right?
Well, yeah, I was born to do Johnny Jet's job, but I'm not doing it.
Oh, man, you got to get, you know what? Johnny would even say this. Just do it. He just made it up and did it. Are you a traveling guy?
Well, so I actually just started a small business as well, and my mom, my birthday is tomorrow, and happy birthday next month, by the way.
Happy birthday to you tomorrow. That's great.
Thank you. Thanks. My mom sent me a MacBook Air because I'm using this old 17-inch MacBook Pro that isn't even supportable anymore, and I can't even put the newer operating system on it. So basically, I just use it for email and the internet. But she sent me this MacBook Air. And that got me thinking. I went into the Apple store and I started wondering, should I go ahead and just go for a MacBook Pro? Because the guy was saying, you're really kind of limited in your use if you want to use this for really everything, multimedia, everything. He said, absolutely go the Pro. Then I've heard you talk about the XPS 13, and so I started wondering,
Oh, you can go crazy with this one. What do you do? What do you want to do with this nice new machine?
So my business is pet services, and I do in-home care and pet massage and outdoor activities. Yeah, it's really great. And so,
see, you're making a living on your dream, what you love. You must love animals.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to travel without them, so I can't have his job.
There you go.
But
see?
I really love, I want to incorporate a lot of photography, and I'm brand new to social media. I've been holding out. I'm not even on Facebook, but I'm going to have a Facebook account for the business.
You'd have a very popular account if it was just a bunch of pictures of animals being, scratched on their tummies.
Yeah.
You'd do very well.
And I think, I want to utilize this computer to really, broadcast
actually,
the business.
The best way to do that, and almost everybody who's a social media influencer just uses their smartphone, to be honest, because it's connected, it's got a camera in it, it's fast, it's easy. But you want a laptop, I couldn't agree with you more. It's always nice to have a powerful computer, and you've got a pretty old one. It's also pretty big, right? The 17-inch.
It's huge.
It's giant.
Yeah, heavy.
So the Dell XPS 13 or a MacBook Air, your mom sent you a MacBook Air. I think that's a great choice. MacBook Pro, they make 13 and 15. I think maybe it might be too big a jump from 17 to 13. You might go, this is dinky. So you should absolutely try it before you buy. 15 is... You're going to carry it to your work, to your locations?
Yes.
Okay. 13 probably is much more portable. And the nice thing about the 13 is better battery life, too. So you won't be worried about plugging it in between, jobs.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apples have very good. The Apple MacBook Pro 13 has very good battery life. Actually, even better than the MacBook Air. Because it's it's a little bigger, and so it has more room for battery. I would say it's the king of battery life among the Dell. Another one you should probably look at that's got very good battery life is and it's just about to come out. I've been watching the HP site. There's a brand new HP Spectre X360 coming out in the next couple of weeks that is going to be, I believe, I've been reading the reviews, the battery king. All-day battery life. Very thin, very light, beautiful computer with lots of power.
Maybe I'll compare.
Yeah, that's the Spectre. Yeah. They spell it funny with an R-E at the end. X360. But here's how, it's hard to know the way HP does it, whether you're getting the new one or not. Best Buy is going to have this model as well as HP, but the way you'll know it's the newest one, it has that 10th generation Intel processor. So they have they have Spectre X360s with the 8th generation processor. It'll even say 2019 because it's from earlier this year, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Wow.
These have very good battery life. You might get a better deal once the new one comes out on the earlier one. HP's saying 22 hours of battery life on the Spectre. So
wow.
Yeah. So if battery life, thin and light with good battery life is what you're looking for, I think that's a great choice. The XPS is a great choice, and the Mac's a great choice. You're used to using a Mac. So you might find Windows to be a bit of a change.
I've always used Windows at work. I've been a corporate IT recruiter for years.
Okay.
So either way, I'm kind of comfortable there. But, I'm just thinking, I have an iPhone also, and so I like the.
There's a real advantage to being in Apple's ecosystem. I kind of don't like that because it's lock-in for Apple.
Right.
But at the same, you're held hostage. But at the same time, it is a nice warm environment, like a warm bath for you. For instance, you'll be able to take calls on your MacBook through your iPhone. You'll be able to copy text on your iPhone or an image on your iPhone and put it in your Mac. When you take a picture with your iPhone, you can immediately put it. The Mac pops up saying you want this picture, and so there are some real advantages to being all in that ecosystem.
Yeah,
it's a little more expensive. So I would price check a 13-inch MacBook Pro or MacBook Air if you really want thin and light with that 13-inch Spectre and the Dell XPS 13. All three of them are excellent.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Leo.
Have fun patting those
patting
putty tats. Do you mostly cats? Cats don't let themselves be massaged, do they?
I do dogs primarily, middle-aged to old dogs, and highly active dogs, and overnight stays. When I do overnight stays, I do massage for the pets. I just hanging out with them. So do whatever. I pretty much try to make it as if the owners are there, the same kind of lifestyle they have, but I'm there.
I bet you're pretty popular.
Pretty popular.
I bet your clients love you. I bet you get a lot of repeat business.
Well, it's a brand new business. I've only been open a month.
Good.
But everything.
You will.
Had only referrals and really high-end clients.
Nice. I would do that for our pets if they'd put up with it. But the dog, the cats would not. The dog would maybe. Hey, it's nice to talk to you. I appreciate it. Good luck, Michael.
Thank you, Leo.
I think you should look at your MacBook Air. I mean, that's not a bad choice either. You got some great choices out there. I love my MacBook Air. That's what I'm taking on the trip because it's thin, it's light, it's got enough power, not a lot, but enough for me to do my photography and all that. I'm kind of was hoping that the HP Spectre would come out before I left, but I don't think I'm not going to get my wish. They will sell a high-end model with a very nice screen at Best Buy for $1,500, slightly less expensive one at Best Buy for this HP Spectre. I think it was around $1,100. I think that's a very good price. It's a lot less than the Apple would cost, and I think a very nice machine. Best battery life in the business, as far as I can tell. I was really looking for great battery life, and that's pretty impressive. 8888 Ask Leo, City of Commerce, George. Welcome to the show. Hi, George.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
All right, man. What's up?
Hey, just calling. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, I have iMac, but it didn't give me the opportunity to upgrade to the new Catalina system.
Uh-oh. Did you check? Are you on Mojave now? A couple of things. What year?
2012.
Oh, you're right on the edge. I think you might not get the opportunity. Okay. Most Macs that can run Mojave will be able to run Catalina. Did you upgrade to macOS 10.14?
Let's see what I'm on right now. Hold on.
Yeah. And, of course, the way to find out now is you go to the Apple menu, you go to System Preference pane.
Yeah, I'm on version 14.0 right now.
Okay. So you should be able, I'm guessing you're going to be able to, but you're like the last year that could do it. 2011, you can't. Go to the Apple menu. The difference is it's no longer in the App Store. It's now under System Preferences. There's a System Preference for Update.
Okay.
So you go to the System Preferences, click, the array of preferences. There's a little gear. It says Software Update. And run that. Okay. If it checks for updates and it doesn't offer you Catalina, uh-oh.
Then I'm out of luck.
Yeah, but you're not really out of luck. For one thing, Mojave, the version you have, 10.14, is the last one that will run 32-bit software. So already people are upgrading to Catalina. There are people saying, oh, what did I do?
Okay.
I can't run software X, Y, or Z. There's a lot of 32-bit software out there, and especially if the developer has not, they've known for years this is going to happen, but if the developer's done, they went home, you may not be able to run that again. So check that system preference pane and see. Is it? You said it's an iMac?
Yeah.
I should look at the you can go online and look at the Catalina compatibility. As I remember, 2012s are okay. I think all the 2012s can be upgraded, but that's the oldest machines that can be upgraded. Here's why you might want to do it. Catalina came out this week. It's the next version of macOS. Apple gives these away for free and encourages everybody to update. As a result, they get a very high update rate. That's good. If you have a Mac that was made in 2012 or later, you can do it and probably should, as long as you understand there are a few things that will change. Primarily, security. It is much more locked down than previous versions of macOS. And in my opinion, that's a good thing, but it'll initially confuse you. And if you have friends and family who are not too computer savvy, expect a call. Why does it keep asking me for my password or things like that? So it doesn't support 32-bit software, so there is some older software that just won't work anymore. I think, as I remember, Adobe's going to have some issues because a lot of the Adobe software is 32-bit. Presumably, they didn't go home. They're still around, and they will update it. But for right now, if you're using Adobe software, wait until they update it before you upgrade to Catalina. It is more secure, so I think for most people will be worthwhile update. I haven't heard of any massive problems, but what you'll notice immediately, first of all, is that programs that normally could access folders will ask you now, it'll say, Chrome wants to access the downloads folder. You say, well, what are you talking about? Of course Chrome can access the downloads folder. No, it can't. You have to give it permission to. They've also, under the hood, they've done some massive changes to the file system that you probably won't notice, but it's one of the reasons that a number of people have reported stalled installs. It gets to a point and just stops for hours. There are slowdowns during the install process. It's really doing a lot of stuff under the hood. The new Apple file system, which came out a couple of Mac OSs ago, is now really coming to the fore. They're moving all the critical system files, the ones the bad guys want to modify, into a new read-only, they call it a volume, so that the bad guys can't get to it, can't change it. That's a huge security, in my estimation, improvement. All your data, your applications, everything is in a second volume. It'll look like one volume to you, but if you open Disk Utility and look at it, you'll see, oh, I have two volumes. Yep, that's system files and everything else. And in fact, if you're one of those people, shame on you, that opens the system folder. Remember a couple of versions ago, Apple started making that harder and harder? Yeah, that's why. If you open the system folder now, you'll see there's nothing there. That's because it's not really the system folder anymore. It's a user folder called system. You'll also probably, I noticed, after you do the install, a new alias on your desktop called relocated items. Those are items that used to be stored by third-party programs in the system folder, but can't be stored there anymore because of this new security policy. Apple doesn't want to delete them. They've moved them, and they put an alias on your desktop so that you can figure out what to do. Most people won't. Most people just delete. You can delete the relocated items because that's just an alias. They're stored elsewhere on the disk. If you have a problem, probably if it's modern software, the software will have had an update that will fix this problem. It'll say, no, don't store your stuff there anymore. Store it here. So that there's going to be a period of time where apps are updating, and some may not work until that happens because their files are, they can't be where they used to be. Program has to be told, no, don't put it in there anymore. Can't put it in the system folder anymore. Got to put it somewhere else. There's a significant number of changes. This is pretty dramatic. If you can defer it, you probably should. I'm going to think about this. I think probably given the number of problems, put it off. It's always a good idea to put off an operating system upgrade for a little while, a few weeks or months, till you hear the all clear. You're going to want to do it because it is so much more secure. They've really done a good job. But, with security comes hassles. I got a lot of pop-ups saying, oh, this program wants to access this folder. Is that okay? A lot of notification warnings, all sorts of stuff. Not a bad thing. It's just going to need a little bit of attention on your part. And again, you're going to do some hand-holding for less sophisticated users, people who don't listen to the tech guy. What's going on? Dan in Palm Springs, you're going to be next, but hang on because we got to take a little break here at the bottom of the hour. I'll come back. We can talk. We're going to take more calls. And a reminder, I am still recording ahead for my vacation. I'll be recording calls just for, a few calls after the show ends in half an hour. I will be here next week, yes, and then I'm leaving the week after, but we'll have a brand new show for you. And then Rich DeMuro from KTLA will be filling in for me. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo the phone number. Let's say hi to Mike in San Diego. Hello, Mike.
Uncle Leo, hello.
Hello, nephew Mike. How are you?
Hey, I need some advice.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I have an old Dell, about 5 years old. I'm looking between now through Black Friday, all the way maybe up through New Year's, of getting a new desktop. But I want to be able to have two monitors. So I thought I needed a fancy graphics card, but now someone tells me there's a feature in Windows 10 that lets me have two monitors.
Yes.
So I'm not sure.
Do not need fancy graphics card, but you need a computer that supports it. And that usually means a graphics card with sufficient oomph to drive two high-resolution displays. But you should see that on the specs of most computers. Yeah, Windows supports it automatic. It's built in.
Okay.
In fact, we do this all the time because if you watch our video broadcasts, you'll very often see we do full-screen screenshots. That's coming from effectively a second monitor. We have a little converter that goes under the table. So I can pretty much assure you that almost every modern computer that I bring to the studio, if it has HDMI out or whatever, if it's a laptop, I've got a screen on the laptop and an external screen. And so that means that it's pretty commonplace these days, Mac or PCs.
Okay, so on the back of the graphics card, it has to have two HDMI outs, right?
It has to have two video outs. So it could be two HDMI. More commonly, you'll see like one HDMI, one display port. You'll see a mix. But that's fine. HDMI and DisplayPort are both digital, both send the same content. They're just kind of different connectors, different specifications. And you can easily buy a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter if that's what you want. I think increasingly you're seeing dual HDMI out as well. Is it going to be a laptop or a desktop?
Oh, it's going to be a desktop.
Oh, yeah. You should have no trouble then.
That sounds good. Thanks, boss. Have a great one.
My pleasure. Enjoy. I love having multiple monitors. We're having a discussion in the community forums, the twit.community forums about one of our regulars there posted, I don't like big screens. I like 17-inch screens on my desktop. And, of course, it's a personal computer. Have whatever you want. No judgment here. But I have seen lots of studies that say people are more productive with larger screens. My wife, who's a CFO, a financial analyst, has lots of spreadsheets open. Honestly, she's got the biggest monitor in our office. She's not playing games on it. She's got a nice 38-inch curved wide Dell. It practically wraps around her. But she says, I would have bigger if I could, because she'll have a spreadsheet, another spreadsheet, maybe QuickBooks, maybe a browser, and of course she's got to have the 49ers game. So, it gets filled. One of our editors has a 43-inch monitor. Honestly, I tried it. I thought, oh gosh, that'll be great. It's too big for me. It's like a TV set. You want to lean back. But it has the advantage, 43 inches, it can have four. It's like if you divide it into four quadrants, 4 different 4K screens on one big monitor. That's a lot of real estate. I think there is a case to be made that humans are not multitaskers. We do the same thing a computer does. We don't do two things at once. We do one thing at a time and switch back and forth very fast. But I've seen many studies that also say we don't do it very well, not as well as your computer does. So there's always this little context shift when you go from one screen to another. Have you ever noticed, I notice this a lot, that when you You get up and say, oh, I'm going to go in the other room and I'm going to turn on the toaster or whatever. You're going to do something. That when you walk through the door, it goes out of your mind. Have you ever noticed that? Happens to me all the time. What am I doing here? I know you're thinking I'm having a senior moment, but no, this is a known phenomenon. It has to do with context switching. The walking through the door is a signal to your brain we're changing context. We're in a new room, new ideas. Forget whatever you were doing. And that's the problem. We're not good at saying, put a pin in that. Let's go do something else, and then we'll come back to it. We're bad at it. There's overhead in context switching. And you may even forget things or drop details. So there you go. There's two different studies. This is the problem with studies. On the one hand, lots of screen real estate makes you more efficient in computing. On the other hand, we don't multitask very well. A lot of writers use tools that just block out everything but the page they're writing on. They full screen, just that page, no buttons, no controls, and whatever you do, no solitaire. 8880. My CPU is no good at context switching. I've got a race condition, and I'm not afraid to use it. Dan in Palm Springs, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Well, the reason I'm calling is the lady that called you earlier having a problem with the Bluetooth on her
chip reader. Do you have a fix for that?
Well, it's not really a fix. I found it out by accident. For my little business, I used the Square, and I had also purchased a chip reader. Well, I accidentally swiped some chip cards on the little Square reader that attaches to your phone, and it read them.
Yeah, yes. Even though they put in chips, they didn't disable the swipe.
Right. So maybe in the meantime, if she keeps having that problem, and she doesn't get a response from Square, I know they probably don't want to hear this, but you just keep using the one that puts into your phone.
It's the same data. The data's in the stripe. Notice, if you look at your credit cards, they still, even if they have a chip, they still have that magnetic strip.
Yes, sir.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you.
No problem.
You see, sometimes it's the simplest solutions. We don't remember. I walked through a door and I forgot all about it. Thank you, Dan. Of course. Just swipe the stripe. It's in Europe when you use a chip card, you also have to enter a PIN, chip and PIN. It's very good. It's a much more secure method. Much harder. Here we use chip and sign, which basically is we don't do any authentication. You just tap it. That's enough. That's good. You must be Leo. You've got his card. Howard, Sherman Oaks, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Howard.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm eating some Cheerios here. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Are they honey nut or regular?
Regular.
That OT goodness.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for taking the call.
Thank you for calling.
I'm having trouble with my iMovie for at least 3 months. I cannot share video from iMovie into iTunes or YouTube or to my files. It comes up always saying error, compressor kit, error domain. And I have no idea what that is, and I see that many people have the same problem with the iMovie.
So iMovie, when you export, has to recompress it or compress it, transfer it from the iMovie format to MPEG-4 or another format that those other things can play. It's called rendering. It does it. And it doesn't do it itself. It uses compressor to do it, a special little bit of software to do it. Sounds like compressor's damaged. There was an iMovie update this week. You might check to see if that fixes it. If it doesn't, uninstall iMovie and reinstall it.
I've tried reinstalling it.
Still doesn't fix it. Yeah, your compressor is damaged. So if you can find that, it's probably an app file, but it's probably hidden away. I don't think it'll be in the Final Cut package or in the Final Cut area. But if you can find that file, Uninstall iMovie, delete that file. It might not be getting deleted, and reinstall. It sounds like that file, that compressor program is damaged. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's time for Dickie D. Dick DeBartolo. He's Mad Magazine's maddest writer. That's one thing he is. He's a disco fool. That's another thing he is. And most importantly for us, he is a gizmo wizard. We call him our Giz Wiz. And he joins us every week with a gadget or a gizmo that he's found in his travels. He's always looking for them. Hello, Dickie D.
Hey, Leo, how are you?
I'm well.
I did find a gadget for really young kids, like 2, 2.5, 3.
That means it's perfect for me.
Yeah. It was at an event called Time to Play Magazine Holiday Showcase.
You get the best little mini shows. Time to Play Magazine?
Time to Play Magazine. It's a magazine about toys for kids. And they have a big holiday showcase. And I met this guy who was one of the inventors of a thing called Jooki, Jooki, the jukebox for juveniles, I guess, for the very young. And this is how it came about. His daughter, I think he said she was either 2.5 or 3, would find a song she liked that he has on his phone. And she, play that song again. Lend me your phone. I want to hear that song again. So he thought, wait a minute. Why don't I come up with a device where the kid can take the songs they like and have their own device so they can listen to that song 100 times if they want to.
So they can listen to Disco Nights over and over and over. Because kids will do that, won't they?
Exactly. So he invented Jooki. It's a music player, and it has 5 little characters. You can arrange it so that fairy tales are on the dragon.
Oh.
And music
so the character contains the music. It looks like a little, I don't know, Amazon Echo Dot or something. It's just a small speaker.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's about, I'd say it's 6 by 6. It has great sound. And then each character, like there's a fox. The fox could have their favorite music.
Does it spin around?
No, it does.
Like a little record?
Nothing. No, as soon as you put it on there, it starts playing the music or whatever.
What's it? Is it a magnet? How does that work? What is it?
You know what? It's a little. At first, I said it's going to fall off, and the guy said if you push down on it, it forms a little suction.
It's a suction cup
to the top of the device. And he said, I don't know if it's into the app yet, but if I'm traveling, I can tell a story to my daughter.
Oh, record it on the Jooki.
Onto the Jooki, and then she knows that the orange figure will be messages from Dad.
Oh, that's really cute.
It's very.
So it kind of is empowering for kids because they can figure out this little figure and put it on there. I mean, even a little nonverbal kid could almost figure that out. That's so cool. I don't understand exactly how it works. The data must be the recording must be in that thing.
It is. So it's Wi-Fi connected so that the parents can send the music to the player.
Oh.
Actually, the little figures are just the trigger, okay? The memory.
Oh, there's an NFC chip in it. And then it goes out on the internet and says, what was the recording associated with this?
With this character.
Oh, that's very clever.
And the sound is excellent. Now, it's not inexpensive. It's almost $200. It's rather new, so it just has 34 reviews so far.
So can you, if you're on the road, could you record to their cloud, the Jooki cloud, something new? And
according to this guy, when he's in the hotel room, he can send a story.
Yeah.
Because
you just put it on the cloud, and the Jooki player is just downloading it.
Downloading.
So you could have a different story every night if you wanted
Absolutely. Well, he said that way I feel like I'm in touch with my daughter, and my daughter feels like she's hearing from Daddy every night.
Daughter feels like Dad is a blue plastic whale.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Exactly.
Dad, how'd you get in that little whale? Dear, this is kind of you know what? I'm loving this because it's innovative. It's different. It's very clever.
It has a big handle on it. It's water resistant.
How many figurines do you get?
You get the 5 figures, and then they sell optionally these little characters if you want to do additional. I don't know what you want to do.
Because they're really just, I'm thinking NFC chips that are tied to a cloud storage where your audio actually lives.
Yeah.
That's clever.
But it sounds really nice. And you can set up silent hours so it won't play when you don't
you know how it is when you kick something and it lands on the juki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also preset the volume. If you have a kid that you don't want to have the volume loud at all, you can set the volume.
Website is jooki.rocks. Is it available now or?
Yes. They just started shipping, I believe, at the end of September.
Oh, Dick, you found something really cool. I mean, I don't mean to sound surprised. But
no.
That's
Dick,
really neat.
You've been doing this for 15 years.
This is the first time
that you found something I like.
It is a shame it's so expensive, but good speakers aren't going to be cheap.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they could get it under $100.
Yeah, it would be.
Do you pay for the cloud storage? Is there a subscription?
No, it's because it's all just going to the SD card.
What SD card?
There's a little 32. Well, you have to buy. There's some memory in there. But
you didn't mention that. Oh, so I misunderstood. Now I'm really confused. So all of the stuff is on the SD. You're sending it Wi-Fi to the SD card in the Juki. Okay. So how, if you're on the road, are you recording a new story? You are sending it through the app. It does record it on the Juki. To the Juki. According to this guy, he was sending a story every night to his kids. He sends it through the cloud to the Juki. Well, there's a sentence I never in a million years thought I'd say on this show. Okay. I get it. So that's why they don't have to charge you monthly, because they're not storing anything in the cloud. Somehow there's magic involved. Now, if your phone is next to I don't understand. Well, you see, I don't own one, so I just had this demo there, so I'm not sure. I know that if you want to use Spotify through it, you have to have Spotify Pro. Okay. Okay. So what it really is like a Sonos Wi-Fi speaker with its own storage, and you can record stuff across the internet to it. I have to learn more about this. This is crazy. And it will be triggered by the various figures. I'm really curious how they're doing it, to be honest. The figure is just a way to turn on whatever tracks. Yeah. So that's probably the NFC chip, and it's got a code, and then you could associate that code. Okay. You shouldn't ever. So the files are stored on the speaker. That's the key. And it supports on the SD card. And it supports internet radio. And it works as a Bluetooth speaker for your phone. If you want. So like if you want to use it as a party, you can just It could be a party. It could also be a party speaker. But there's no disco light. What? What good is that? Dick DeBartolo, go to gizwiz.biz. That's his website, gizwiz.biz, and you can learn more about the Juki. Jooki. You can also play the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Dick will be back next week. Thank you, Dickie D. You're welcome. Hey, Lady Laura, thank you for the job, spinning the discs. Thanks to Kim Schaffer for answering the phones. Most of all, thanks to you for being here. I am Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.